Well, this is the end of the year 2015. At least I think that's what year it is. No, I'm not drinking. I'm going to call this video Everything Old is New Again. And I've made a proposition to a number of people. And I've had 100% success rate on those that followed through with it, given, obviously this isn't for everybody. If someone is a sports or a landscape photographer, you know, they might necessarily need the ability to do a lot of cropping, and or they might need something that doesn't have an anti-aliasing filter, though that doesn't apply to either one of these. Or they might need something that, you know, they need to blow the hell out of for landscape shots. And so it's the, you know, these recommendations that I made on the D3 and the Nikon D700 are certainly not applicable to everybody. And I never, you know, give subjective advice, you know, based upon a generic question. It's like, well, what do you shoot? What's your budget? What are you going to be using it for? What are you going to be shooting mostly? So I have to ask those questions. When someone says, well, what's the best camera and what's the best lens? It's like, well, that's not the right, that's only part of the question. What do you shoot? What's your budget? You know, I have to know those questions, otherwise I can't make an intelligent response. Otherwise I'm just talking off the cuff based upon subjective likes or dislikes. It can't be helpful to anybody that way, because I'm not you and you aren't me, obviously so, and you're damn well happy that you're certainly not me. I put a proposition forward to you. This isn't going to change in the year 2016 either. It's all going to stay the same. Is that I made a proposition to you that something you need to consider many months ago, like for example on the Nikon D700. It's like, well, what if you got a professional photographer that's got all the money in the world, it's all text write-off, and there aren't a lot of, I mean, professional photographer, they buy whatever the hell they want, you know. If it's a medium format Mamiya, you know, you want to drop some serious jing. Why are they still holding on to this camera? This camera, meow, 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 meow. Why are they not getting rid of it? And it's like, Bob, you know, you're a pretty good professional photographer. I know you got money, and you got your Lamborghini out there in the parking lot, and I see you've got a pair of Nikon D810s and a couple hundred lenses. Why are you holding on to that old D700 camera? And everybody that asks that question doesn't know the answer. And Bob looks back like, I know something you don't know. That very reason is why people that bought this camera off my recommendation, they're reporting back, and you know, some of them own a few cameras, and they're like, you know what, it's this old camera, you know, I want to own that. And then they get the camera, maybe some doofus off Craigslist or something like that, and they see the results of what this camera does, and they're like, wee! They're giddy as a schoolgirl, because this camera is magical. It's like, well, that camera's old. It's only a 12 megapixel camera. Well, there's this old philosophy, and I know a lot of rich codgers, and I don't mean like rich as like they got more money than me, which, you know, all of them do, but I mean they've got some serious money, like money, and they still all work off this philosophy. It's like, which would you rather have? Would you rather have a new Toyota 4Runner or something like that for 30,000 bucks, or take that $30,000 and buy like a classic Porsche? Well, you know, something's got like 100,000 miles on it, or like a really, really awesome BMW convertible that's like 5 or 8 years old for the same amount of money. And you buy that piece of crap that, you know, moms are driving, their soccer moms are driving their kids to work with, kids do school with, or you can buy that really classy piece of kick-ass for the same amount of money. And there is that philosophy. It's like, well, you can buy the latest and greatest, it's all the bells and whistles, but it doesn't have a certain attribute, a certain je ne sais quoi. And you know what I'm talking about, or maybe you don't. And that is Nikon D700. That is why people that can buy whatever the F they want are still holding on to meow, meow, meow. They're not getting rid of meow because they know what the hell meow does. And those of you bought it know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Same is really true for the Nikon D3. I mean, this used to be $5,500, depending on what sort of configuration you got it in. And this camera is a tank. I mean, if there were a hole big enough in this, I would actually make sex with it, but I can't find one. Well, there's a front there. Just damn, don't say that stuff. Awesome camera. I got a couple of these. I just bought a third one and gave it away as a gift. Awesome camera. Incredible camera. Built like a tank, built like a brick outhouse. You know, it'll just fire like a machine gun. It'll just keep rocking and rolling long past you. Is it heavy as a beast? Yeah. I mean, it's a solid magnesium chassis. Yeah. I mean, it's got 2 compact flash card slots. Yeah. I mean, is there anything not to love about this camera? See, my proposition to you is that, let's say this camera's $1,000, which basically it is. You can get a good one for like that for 60. It's hard to find one with very few clicks on them. 60,000, 70, 80,000 clicks on it, and it'll rock and roll well past 300,000, which is his rating. You know, my proposition to you that, well, you know, unless you need, you know, what the hell are you going to print out with it? You can print out 20 by 30s on this thing back when it came out in 2009. You think you can't do that now? Do you need more than that? If you're a wildlife photographer and you need a higher pixel pitch for some long lenses like I have, I'm showing you tomorrow on my videos, well, then the answer is yeah. I'm not saying this camera's for everybody, but if I have to make a choice and say I'm just going to do portrait shots and you know, do some action shots, which or photojournalistic work, which never needs to be, you know, way the hell up there in the megapixel range. And it's easier to work with the workflow on these 12 megapixel files, raw files. Much easier. It's like, well, for $1,000, I can get, you know, a Nikon, a brand new I'm talking about. Nikon D7200, which I don't like, the Nikon D7200. I said 7200, not 7100. A brand new Nikon D7200, or I can buy one of these bitches. Which one am I going to get? Well, if I had a lot of wisdom and common sense, which most people don't have. Shh, don't say that. People don't like it when you tell the truth. Shh. Well, which one would I get? Let me see. Camera used to be, you know, $5,000 plus. That was just like, will just burn you up and piss on your guts, or like a modern D7100 made in Thailand out of plastic with not such great output. You know, it does have a higher megapixel count, but you know, I only print 20 by 30 prints. That's as large as I'm gonna go. Yeah, this is made in Japan, and it is just built like Arnold Schwarzenegger and you know, a Navy SEAL team all wrapped into one. Yeah, they're both $1,000 basically. Which would I grab? Yeah, I'm gonna grab this one. That may not be your choice. You may need a camera for low light, high ISO performance. In which case, I would actually recommend Nikon D750 instead of the D7200. So it depends on what you need. All things being equal, if you're just going to do portraiture, you're not going to be shooting stuff in the ass crack of a dirty bar of some seedy band with, you know, hellish-like low lighting. Then, and if you're not going to be doing that, meow, right? Meow, meow, meow. So this is everything old is new again, and the philosophy of cameras. See. For $1,000, I can get one that's a few years old that still just pounds the hell out of everything else as far as quality of build, construction, reliability. Or I can get something made in Thailand out of plastic. Yeah, that's a tough choice. I'm going to have to think on that one. I'm going to have to pontificate it in my head and roll it around a little bit. No, I don't! You might have to, but I don't have to do that. So, think about that. Think everything old is new again. Or, you know, at least stop trying to lust after new crap that you don't necessarily need. I'd rather have the old BMW than the modern Toyota Camry. Might be because one is like 1,000 times more classy and well built than the other one. But that's just me, you know. I kind of like common sense and logic, but you may think differently. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye.